actually starts going live. But hi, how is everybody? I hope y'all are amazing. Yeah. Um, lots going on in my life. Sorry, I think the last time I streamed was, it was definitely last week still, so I haven't been like MIA or anything for that long. But I did start my new job and I am absolutely loving it. So started my second week this week with that, and it's pretty great. But yeah, I hope everybody else is doing just as great or more so. But I really can't complain right now, so I hope everyone is doing great too. I'm sorry. Yeah. But yeah, so tomorrow is my book study, so I needed to get caught up in my book, Pilgrim's Progress. So I really have to do that today, so that's why I'm live. But yeah, there's not really much else to say. I'll just get right into it. I'm actually very excited about this chapter, because it's dumb. No, it's not dumb. Maybe excited isn't the right word. I'm anticipating that something bad's gonna happen, like something dramatic. So yeah, I'm just excited to find out. Anyway, all right. This one is chapter 7. It's called On Trial at Vanity Fair. Or at least that's what this section is called. They like to section. Oh yeah, it's just that. On Trial at Vanity Fair. Here we go. Then I saw in my dream that when Christian and faithful came out of the wilderness, they soon saw a town ahead of them named Vanity. At this town there was a fair called Vanity Fair that was promoted all year long. It bore the name Vanity Fair for its preoccupation with idle pleasures and an over-the-top lifestyle, and also because everything that was sold there, as well as those that came to buy, was vain, empty, and meaningless. As is the saying of the wise man, everything in this world is meaningless. This fair was not a new business, but rather had been around for a very long time. Let me tell you how it began. Almost 5,000 years ago, there were pilgrims walking to the celestial city, just like Christian and faithful. Beelzebub, Apollyon, and Legion, along with their companions. I think Beelzebub it's pretty self-explanatory who that is. Apollyon is also, I think he's like, they said it before, he's like the son of the devil. Or I think I'm probably getting that wrong, but he's bad. He's really bad. Legion, I already know from the Bible, just means like a legion of demons. I'm pretty sure. So, right here it's talking like Legion is one person. I'm just gonna go ahead and assume it's like demons. I don't really know though. But alright. I need to get a Bible. So this book is awesome because it references I'm so sorry, I just went blank. It references like scripture that correlates or relates to the chapter. So like as you're reading, if you don't know what something is, actually no, just as you're reading, it'll tell you when it says something that relates to scripture, basically. Hi, how are you? I'm amazing. I hope you're great. But yeah, so if I had a Bible, I would just check that verse and see. Oh, well, never mind. There's no verse for Legion. I know Legion's in the Bible. It's got something to do with demons, I think. So, because I think they possess, like, I'm going to get this so wrong. I'm pretty sure Legion in the Bible at one point possesses, like, a herd? What do you say? What's a group of pigs called? Is it a herd? Herd of pigs. No, that's sheep. Anyway, we were just talking about this yesterday, actually, with my coworkers. Like plurals, or not plurals, just like words for groups of different animals. And there's some fun ones. Excuse me. doing well, thanks. I'm actually doing... Are you serious? That's amazing. Has it been great? I like that book. That's a good story. Daniel. He's a brave little guy. Yeah. That's amazing though. I'm so happy for you. I hope they do another like book study or Bible study after this one I'm on. But yeah, no, sorry. I'm getting so off track. We like barely started the chapter and I'm talking about animals. So like I know that a flock or whatever of flamingos is called a flamboyance, which is like my favorite one. And then I know a flock of crows is called a murder, which is so cool. And the one for vultures I actually really liked. I just can't remember now. So much to learn. That's so awesome. I'm so glad. That made me so happy. Thanks for sharing. Flock of vultures. It's called something cool. And then I need to learn all of them. I'm sure there's another fun one. But I don't know what a group of pigs is called right now. Is that what a pigsty is? No, I don't know. Okay. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they're coming into this town called Vanity. In the town, there's a fair that they promote all year long. It's called Vanity Fair. So basically the town is Vanity Fair. Anyway, okay. Almost 5,000 years ago, there were pilgrims walking to the celestial city, just like Christian and faithful. Beelzebub, Apollyon, and Legion, along with their companions, knew the pilgrims' path would take them through the town of Vanity, so they set out to construct a year-round fair there. According to their plan, they would sell and promote all sorts of vanity amid a host of festivities lasting all year long. That would be amazing. I'd love that. At this fair, you could purchase houses, land, trades, places, honors, promotions, titles, countries, kingdoms, lusts, and pleasures. There were also delights of all sorts, such as prostitutes, wives, husbands, children, masters, servants, lives, blood, bodies, souls, silver, gold, pearls, precious stones, and much more. If this was not enough, there was constant round-the-clock entertainment like jugglers, cheats, games, plays, clowns, mimics, swindlers, scoundrels, and a variety of amusements of every kind. Here, visitors would also find, without cost, offerings that include thefts, murders, adulteries, and perjuries, and all of them were available in various shades of blood red. I don't really like the sound of this place, but I guess some people would absolutely die for it, so. As with other fairs of less significance, there were many avenues and streets with names based on what type of merchandise was sold there. In the same way, there were places, avenues, and streets named after countries and kingdoms where the merchandise of the fair could quickly be found. There was British Avenue, French Avenue, Italian Avenue, Spanish Avenue, and German Avenue, all of which offered a variety of vanities for sale. But as with other fairs, where one commodity seems to dominate the entire market, such was the merchandise of Rome, which was the most sought after at the fair due to its lavish promotion. However, some, like our English nation, had expressed a disliking of Rome's crass peddling and promotion. Now, as I said, the way to the celestial city ran directly through Vanity, where this lively fair was located. Those that desire to go to the celestial city and yet avoid going to this town would have to leave the world. The King of Kings himself, when traveling in this region, passed through Vanity on his way to his own country. It was a time when the fair was in full operation. I believe it was Beelzebub, the chief ruler of the fair, who invited him to buy some of his vanities, and he would have made him the lord of the fair if he would have only worshipped him as he went through the town. Because the king was such an honorable person, Beelzebub led him from street to street and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a short time, so that he might, if possible, lure the Blessed One to lower himself and buy some of his vanities. But the king had no desire for any of the merchandise, and therefore he left the town without spending so much as one penny on any of these worthless things. As you can see, this was a very old and well-established fair, and a very renowned fair at that. Now, as I said, it was necessary for Christian and faithful to pass through the fair in order to reach the celestial city. But as they entered the fair, a loud and I've never seen this word. I'm so sorry. But as they entered the fair, a loud and raucous crowd drew around them and became disturbed by the two men. This happened for several reasons. First, both Christian and faithful were dressed quite differently from the attire of those at the fair. People just stared at them, calling them fools, lunatics, and strange men. Secondly, just as the crowd wondered at their clothing, they were also curious about their speech, since few could understand what they said. Naturally, Christian and faithful spoke the language of those following the Lord God Almighty, but the men running the fair only spoke the language of the world. From one end of the fair to the other, Christian and faithful seemed almost barbaric to those in the town. Thirdly, and this especially disturbed the merchants, these pilgrims placed such little value on all the merchandise being sold. Same. They did not care so much as to even look at them, and if someone called upon them to buy, they would put their fingers in their ears, look upward, and cry, "Turn my eyes away from looking at these worthless things," signifying that their trade and commerce was in heaven. One merchant observed their strange behavior and mocked them, saying, "What do you want to buy?" But they looked at him seriously and said, "We buy the truth." This response just made the men of the fair despise Christian and faithful even more. Some mocked, some taunted, and some slandered them, while others suggested they should be beaten. I thought it said eaten. I'm sorry, I wouldn't even be a bit surprised if it said eaten. This all led to a great uproar, creating a state of confusion at the fair. Word spread quickly to the governor of the fair, who came down and appointed some of his most trusted advisors to interrogate the men responsible for almost destroying the fair. Also, I'm sorry, I left my glasses at the office, so I'm like having to... Okay. So Christian and faithful were brought under investigation. Those who presided over the proceedings asked where they came from, where they were going, and why they were so unusually dressed. Christian and faithful told them they were pilgrims and strangers in the world, that they were traveling to their own country, which was the heavenly Jerusalem. They stated that they had given no reason for the men of the town or the merchants to abuse or delay them on their journey, except that when they asked what they wanted to buy, they said they would buy the truth. But those who were appointed to interrogate them did not believe them to be any more than lunatics and madmen, who came for the sole purpose of throwing the fair into confusion. Therefore they beat them, smeared them with dirt. Hi! How the heck are you? Oh, this chapter is on something else, man. I could just start all over. I feel like you haven't gotten to catch any of the book. Therefore, they beat... Yeah, actually, this is a really good book. I mean, chapter. Wow. I mean, it is a good book. I'm so sorry. How are you? Sorry, my really good friend Vincent just came in, so it makes me want to just start the whole chapter over. I mean, it's not a long chapter, so I wouldn't mind. It's a good one. I like it. Basically, Christian has a new friend, Faithful, and he's been amazing. And he's on his own little... Well, they're on the same journey, but obviously his has looked a little different because everyone's different. And so they're together, and they just, like, on their path, they have to go through this town. It's called Vanity. And basically everyone in the town are, like, barbaric, vain creeps. I don't know. They're into, like, worldly pleasures and desires, and the need to buy anything and everything you've ever wanted or whatever is at this town. I'm a little sick. Oh. I'm so sorry. I hope you get to rest. I'm amazing. I'm on my second week at my new job, and it's been absolutely wonderful. So I'm really good. Thanks. But yeah, I really hope you get some rest and start feeling better. But I guess I won't start over. But basically, they're at this new town, and it's just full of crazy people. And they've just, like, they haven't, like, caused any attention in themselves except for the fact that they have totally different mentalities than everyone in the town, and they're dressed different, and they don't want to buy anything, and all, like, it's crazy. They must be madmen, when really they just have their eyes on the Lord instead of things of this world. So, they, yeah. So, Christian and faithful were brought under investigation. Those who presided over the proceedings asked where they came from, where they were going, and why they were so unusually dressed. Christian and faithful told them they were pilgrims and strangers in the world, and that they were traveling to their own country, which was the heavenly Jerusalem. They stated that they had given no reason for the men of the town or the merchants to abuse or delay them on their journey, except that when they asked what they wanted to buy, they said they would buy the truth. But those who were appointed to interrogate them did not believe them to be any more than lunatics and madmen who came for the sole purpose of throwing the fair into confusion. Therefore, they beat them, smeared them with dirt, and put them into a cage as a spectacle for all the fair to see. They laid in the cage for some time and were made the object of anyone's sport, malice, and revenge, all while the governor of the fair constantly laughed at all that happened to them. Christian and faithful were patient and did not return insult for insult, but rather blessed those physically hurting them. They even spoke good words for bad and showed kindness despite their injuries. Dang, couldn't be me. There were some men at the fair who observed Christian and faithful's actions. They were more sympathetic than most and became upset when those men who continually abused the prisoners. What? Oh, sorry. I read one word wrong. I don't have my glasses. Okay. They were more sympathetic than most and became upset with those men who continually abused the prisoners. But this just made the abusers even more violent. I've been resting and hydrating. Good. Also, I did get Oh, yay. Okay, good. I'm glad. I like it too. But this just made the abusers even more violent. They flew into a furious rage at their accusers, claiming they were as bad as the caged prisoners and worthy of the same treatment. Those who defended the pilgrims replied that, as far as they could see, these men were quiet, sensible, and harmless. As far as they were concerned, there were many others that traded at the fair that were far more worthy to be caged and imprisoned than the two men they had abused. Both sides continued to debate the facts until they began to physically assault and injure one another. This happened all while Christian and faithful acted very wisely and sensibly the entire time. This uproar led to the two prisoners being brought once again before their interrogators and charged with creating a disturbance at the fair. As punishment, they were beat unmercifully, placed in iron shackles, and paraded around in chains up and down the streets of the fair as an example and warning to others that might dare speak on their behalf or associate with them. Despite the public shame and disgrace they endured, Christian and faithful continued to act wisely. Their humility and patience won over several of the men in the fair to their side. The number was few in comparison to the rest, but it only enraged their enemies to the point of demanding the death penalty, as they claimed, "This cage and its irons are not a sufficient punishment for the damage they've done, as well as deceiving the men of the fair. Therefore, they deserve death." Christian and faithful were once again ordered back to the cage and their feet placed in stocks, pending a trial. During this time, both men recalled the prophecy of their faithful friend Evangelist, who claimed that both would suffer and at least one would die. They comforted each other, knowing that whoever was put to death would have the advantage. In their hearts, each man secretly desired the opportunity, but they committed themselves to the wise and sovereign purposes of God and remained content in their present condition while awaiting their fate. That is so sad. When a convenient time was determined, they were brought forth for their trial in order to be found guilty and condemned. When the time had come, they were brought before their enemies in court and arraigned. The judge who presided over the trial was Lord Hategood. What a name. Lord Hategood. The indictment was essentially the same as before, but had been modified slightly to read that faithful and Christian were enemies to and disturbers of the fair, that they had made commotions and caused divisions in the town, and had won a party over to their own most dangerous opinions in contempt of the law of their prince. The prince is like Satan, I think. I'm gathering. Then Faithful responded to the indictment that he had only spoke out against that which had... Wow, I'm so sorry. Then Faithful responded to the indictment that he had only spoke out against that which had asserted itself higher than the highest. And as for causing any disturbance, he went on to say, I made none, being myself a man of peace. As for the men who were won over to our sentiments, well, they were won because they saw the truth and believed us to be innocent. Now they have turned from their worse condition to the better. As to the prince you talk about, since he is Beelzebub, the enemy of our Lord, I defy him and all his angels. That's funny. Lord Hategood. I mean, everybody's names are exactly what they are, so I love it when it's just so... He hates everything that's good. That's his name. Then it was proclaimed that anyone who had anything to say in support of their lord the king against the prisoner at the bar should appear immediately and provide evidence. 3 witnesses came forward: Envy, Superstition, and Flatterer. They were asked if they knew the prisoner at the bar and what they had to say before their lord the king against him. Envy eagerly stepped forward, took the stand, and said something to this effect: Your Honor, I have known this man a long time and will testify under oath before this honorable bench that he is... Stop, the judge said, quickly raising his hand. First, swear him in. They swore him in, and Envy continued. Your Honor, this man, despite his credible name, is one of the vilest men in our country. He shows no regard for our prince, our people, our laws, or our customs. Instead, he does all he can to persuade all men with his disloyal notions, which he refers to as principles of faith and holiness. And in particular, I myself heard him once claim that Christianity and the customs of our town of Vanity contradicted each other and could not be reconciled. By his very words, Your Honor, he not only condemns our praiseworthy good deeds, but also us in doing them. Then the judge asked him, Do you have anything more to say? Your Honor, I could say much more, only I would not want to tire the court, Envy responded with a slight smile. However, if necessary, after the other gentlemen have testified, to avoid any lack of evidence that might allow the prisoner to go free, I would be willing to provide even more testimony at that time. He was told to stand by in case further testimony was needed. Next, they called Superstition to the stand and swore him in, asking, What can you say for your lord the king against this prisoner? Superstition, who is also known as false devotion, glared in the direction of Faithful and began, Your Honor, I'm not friends with this man, nor do I desire to know him any better. However, I do know that he's a very dangerous man, just from a conversation that I had with him in town the other day. During this conversation, I heard him say that our religion was in vain, and that in no way could it ever please God. Turning his attention to the judge, Superstition continued, Now, Your Honor, you know very well the natural result of following such a claim. If our worship is in vain, then our sins are not forgiven, and therefore we are damned. This is my testimony against him. Then Flatterer was sworn in and asked what he knew in support of their lord the king against the prisoner at the bar. Your Honor, and all of you gentlemen, began Flatterer, who was eager to please the court and those in attendance. I've known this man for a long time and have heard him say things that should never be spoken. He has denounced our noble Prince Beelzebub and has spoken shamefully of his honorable friends, including the Lord Old Man. That's his name? Including the Lord Old Man, the Lord Carnal Delight, the Lord Luxurious, the Lord Desire of Vain Glory, my old Lord Lusty, and Sir Having Greedy, along with all the rest of our noble leaders. Such names. These might be the funniest names we've gotten so far. Flatterer paused as if for effect, then continued, "Moreover, he has said that if all men thought just as he did, then not one of those noble men would remain any longer in this town. And besides that, he has not been afraid to severely criticize you, your honor, who is now appointed to be his judge. He has called you an ungodly villain, along with many other slanderous names with which he has smeared the good names of most of the nobility of our town. When flattery..." Oh, that's so funny. They called him something different. His name was Flatterer, and now they're saying when flattery had finished testifying against Faithful, the judge turned his attention to the prisoner at the bar and angrily spat, "You rebel, heretic, and traitor. Have you heard what these honest gentlemen have testified against you?" Faithful very calmly replied, "May I speak a few words in my own defense?" "You scoundrel," the judge said, almost coming out of his seat. "You don't deserve to live any longer, but to be put to death immediately, right here on the spot." Then the judge calmed down and said almost reluctantly, "However, so that all men may see our gentleness towards you, let's hear what you, a wicked renegade, have to say." "First I will reply to what Mr. Envy has testified," Faithful said as he began his defense. "I never said anything except to say that whatever rules, laws, customs, or people that are plainly against the word of God would also directly contradict Christianity. If I have said anything that is incorrect, please point out my error and convince me otherwise, for I am more than willing to recant it. If you can prove it." Faithful glanced over at Superstition. "Secondly, I will address the charge that Mr. Superstition..." I knew I was going to mess that up. "I will address the charge that Mr. Superstition brought against me. I can only say this, that for true worship of God, a divine faith is required, but there can be no divine faith without a divine revelation of the will of God. Therefore, anything added to the worship of God that's not in agreement with divine revelation is nothing but human faith, which will not result in eternal life." Faithful continued with unusual calmness. "And finally, as to what Mr. Flatterer has testified, while avoiding those hateful words that I've been accused of using, I must still say that the prince of this town, all the rabble that he has appointed, his attendants, and those who were named by Mr. Flattery, are more fit for being in hell than in this town and country, and so may the Lord have mercy on me." Then the judge addressed the jury, who were all watching and listening nearby. "Gentlemen of the jury," the judge said, leaning forward in his big chair, "you see this man before you, who has been in the center of a great uproar in this town. You've also heard what these worthy gentlemen have testified against him, and you have heard his reply and confession. It lies now in your heartfelt decision as to whether he should live or die. However, before you decide, I think it's proper that I instruct you in the understanding of the law." The judge sat back in his chair and began his explanation, as if telling his favorite story. "There was a decree made in the days of Pharaoh the Great, a servant to our king, that if those of a false religion should multiply and grow too strong for him, their males should be thrown into the river. There was also a decree made in the days of Nebuchadnezzar the Great, another of his servants, that whoever would not fall down and worship his golden image should be thrown into a fiery furnace. And yet another decree was made in the days of Darius, that for a period of time whoever called on any god other than him should be cast into the lion's den." That's funny because all three of those examples that he just said, those dudes came to believe God in the end. Kind of funny. Do they not know that? Pharaoh was harder. I think eventually God softened his heart and he let he let the Hebrews go, the slaves. And I don't know if he ever turned to God and believed in him. But he did witness the 10 plagues and the Red Sea splitting. So if you don't believe God after that, then you're hopeless. No, but his heart was softened, and then Nebuchadnezzar the Great, he had what are their names? Abednego, Shadrach, Meshach. Is that the right? Am I saying that right? He just, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. He just listed like 3 examples. All right, so I'll tell you what he said. However, before you decide, I think it's proper that I instruct you in the understanding of our law, the judge. The judge sat back in his chair and began his explanation as if telling his favorite story. There was a decree made in the days of Pharaoh the Great, a servant to our king, that if those of a false religion should multiply and grow too strong for him, their males should be thrown into the river. There was also a decree made in the days of Nebuchadnezzar the Great, another of his servants, that whoever would not fall down and worship his golden image should be thrown into a fiery furnace. And yet another decree was made in the days of Darius, that for a period of time whoever called on any god other than him should be cast into the lion's den. But I was saying it's funny, I don't know if ironic fits this. It might be ironic that these 3 examples, those dudes like ended up believing in God. So like he's saying this, a servant to our king, which is their king is Satan. So Satan told Pharaoh to kill the Hebrews, and he told Nebuchadnezzar to throw people into a fiery furnace, and he told Darius to throw them into a lion's den. But in the end, our God, the good God, won. You know, like Pharaoh's heart was softened. He witnessed the 10 plagues and the Red Sea splitting, and he let the Hebrews free. You know, Nebuchadnezzar, he throws, I really want to say I have it right, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the fiery furnace. Oh my God. Yeah, no, that's awful. That was Pharaoh's, I want to say that was Pharaoh's dad. Sorry. So there's like Ramesses Pharaoh, and then there's, oh, I always forget his dad's name. But anyway, I don't know if the Bible actually specifies that. But anyway, so after Nebuchadnezzar throws those 3 into the fiery furnace, God doesn't let them burn. You know, he saves them, so they walk back out of the furnace, and Nebuchadnezzar is like, oh, your God is the one, we should be worshiping him. And then Darius, same thing, he throws Daniel into the lion's den, and Daniel doesn't get eaten. So he's like, okay, whatever God you worship is the one. So I love that he's using these 3 examples like it's like Satan is so powerful, or so like we should be following what Satan says, but in the end, like, God overpowered him. So I don't know, I just thought that was funny. Okay, the judge leveled his bony finger in the direction of Faithful and said, now this rebel has broken the substance of these laws, not only in thought, which is not an indictable offense, but also in word and action, which must not be tolerated. I'm so curious what he's about to say. Okay. Concerning Pharaoh, his law was made with the assumption that it would prevent trouble, even though no crime had yet been committed. True. But in this case, the evidence of a crime is apparent. With regard to the second and third precedents, you have witnessed how the prisoner argues against our religion in much the same way. Therefore, for the treason that he has already confessed, he deserves to die as a criminal. Then the jury whose names were Mr. Blind Man, Mr. No Good, Mr. Malice, Mr. Love Lust, Mr. Live Loose, Mr. Heady, Mr. High Mind, Mr. Enmity, Mr. Liar, Mr. Cruelty, Mr. Hate Light, and Mr. Unforgiving, left the room in order to consider a verdict. Each jury member delivered their private verdict before the judge and unanimously concluded that Faithful was guilty. Mr. Blind Man, the foreman, wasted no time and said, "I clearly see that this man is a heretic." Then Mr. No Good added, "Let's be rid of this man off the face of the earth." "Yes," said Mr. Malice, nodding his head in agreement. "I can't stand the very sight of him." "I could never tolerate him," said Mr. Lovelust. "Nor could I," said Mr. Live Loose, "because he was always condemning my lifestyle." Hang him," said Mr. Heady violently. Mr. High Mind crossed his arms and said proudly, "He's a sorry good-for-nothing." "My heart boils with anger against him," said Mr. Enmity. Mr. Liar confidently asserted, "He's a dishonest and unprincipled man." "Hanging is too good for him," said Mr. Cruelty. "Let us get rid of him immediately," said Mr. Hate Light. Then Mr. Unforgiving said, "Even if I were to be given the whole world, I still could never be reconciled to him. Therefore I say we deliver our verdict and find him guilty and deserving of death." And so they did. Faithful was immediately condemned and returned to his cell, where he was to await the cruelest death that could be invented. Then they brought him out to execute him according to their law. First they whipped him, then they severely beat him, and then they lanced his flesh with knives. After that they stoned him, then stabbed him with their swords. And last of all they burned him to ashes at the stake. This is how Faithful died. I liked him. Now I noticed beyond the crowd a chariot and a team of horses waiting for Faithful. As soon as his enemies had killed him, he was taken up into the chariot and immediately carried up through the clouds with the sound of a trumpet. He was taken by the quickest route to the celestial gate. But as for Christian, he had some time to rest and was sent back to prison, where he remained for some time. But he who overrules all things, having the power of their rage in his own hand, worked things out so that Christian had time to escape and could continue traveling on the way. As he left the town, he said, "Well, Faithful, you have faithfully professed your Lord, and so you will be blessed. When faithless ones with all their worthless desires are crying out under their hellish plights, sing, Faithful, sing, and let your name survive. For though they have killed you, yet you are alive." That was good. I knew that was going to be a good chapter. And I knew something bad was going to happen. Evangelist said, one of you is going to die. But it had to be Faithful. So sad. But that was super good. I liked that chapter. That was a good one. And I will not be reading another because I'm on a very strict schedule now with my new job. I need to be more strict about it. I've been, I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning. And I've been pushing it to 5:45. But I really wanted it to be 5:30. So I really want to, I've been trying to force myself to go to bed earlier. But I am such a night person. It is so hard for me to calm down and go to bed at night. My brain is so active, and I want to get stuff done. Oh, speaking of getting stuff done, do you want to see my latest project? I didn't stream it. I just pumped it out the other day. So I'll tell you. I wanted to make something for my sister for her birthday, which is all the way in August, by the way. Okay, so I'll tell you. Yeah, me too. Okay, so I wanted to make a picture referencing her favorite show, which is called Over the Garden Wall, if you haven't seen it. I don't know who makes it, but it reminds me of Adventure Time, but it's 10 episodes. It's really short. But it's really eerie and Halloween kind of feelings. I don't know. it's good. I like it. She loves it though. So I took a projector, okay, and I found like a simple picture from the show, and I projected it onto a wall, and then I took a canvas and like traced the projection onto the canvas, right? But it, like, with this show being so like dark and ominous and shit stuff, sorry, um, I didn't want it to just be like a white canvas background with it. It just wouldn't fit for the show. So I was like, I guess I'll try and I don't know what to put as a background, right? And I've never worked with paint. Like, I've never actually tried to paint a picture before, because paint is so frustrating. Like, I hate it. Because I get so like hyper focused or like stuck on all the details. So if one thing is out of place or wrong, it's gonna mess me up. And paint is so hard to control. Anyway, all that to say, I managed to paint. I did work with paint for this one, and I managed to make like some kind of background to the characters, so it's not just white. And actually, so what I was saying was I started it on Sunday, and I ended up finishing it on Sunday because I didn't even expect to do that. I thought I was just gonna like try to start with watercolors first, and it was gonna get frustrating, and I was gonna need to take like a 3-week break. But but yeah, so I ended up finishing it in one day. And what I did was I took watercolor paint first, and did like 5 different colors, kind of spread out throughout the whole thing. And I went ahead and penned in the lines. So I tried to keep the watercolor like as outside of the lines as I could so that they didn't get messed up. Yeah. And then I took acrylic paint and just did this like other kind of technique with other colors over it. So it was kind of layered, you're right. And then I took my amazing pens that I got, and I fixed the line work, and I colored in the characters, and it just looks so crisp and solid, and I love it. So I'm gonna show you. Hey, let me. Sorry, I don't want to. What? Okay. My little thingy isn't working right now. I'm so sorry. Let me just pick you up. I'm so sorry. I would have just put it right there if I was planning on showing you this. But it's actually over there. So you guys stay there for 2 seconds. Okay. And do you know, I just realized I've got to color in his little mouth. But okay. This is what we look like. Ta-da! So yeah, I actually really like the way it turned out. If you look up closely, you can see the watercolor, but I just took like other acrylic, more solid colors and just like did this weird thing with my brush throughout the whole thing. And I don't know, I like it. Yeah. The show is called Over the Garden Wall. Oh, thank you. I like it. I think it turned out way better than I was expecting, for sure. I just realized I need to color in his nose and his mouth. I totally just skipped that. Oh, professional? Well, thank you so much. Seriously, I think she's gonna love it. I hope. I'm trying to like show you every little detail, but yeah. But yeah, that way it got like some kind of background. Like there's nothing specific in the background, but at least it's not white. It kind of totally works for me with the show. Like the show is way less color. It's very like eerie and dark, but I like it. Anyway, yep. That's my latest project. I'm so sorry. I would have streamed it if I knew it was going to turn out that good. But yeah, I honestly wasn't expecting to get it done that fast either. I thought I was just going to be doing the watercolor part and then needing to take a break, so. Oh, sweet. Yeah, let me know what you think. It's literally like 10 episodes long. Doesn't take long to watch at all. So yeah, let me know what you think. I think it's like 18-minute episodes too, so super quick. I absolutely adore Adventure Time. Super good, but that one's way longer. So she's wanting to watch Adventure Time. She just hasn't gotten around to it. This one she put me on, and I watched it in like a week because. But it's good. I like it. Let me know what you think. But I must go cook dinner, and I'm trying to be in bed by 9 o'clock, which, knowing me, is not going to happen. But I'm glad we got this done. Good chapter. So next time I stream, I want to start a new book because we finished The House at Pooh Corner. So I'm thinking, someone did suggest Black Beauty, which I'm absolutely putting on the list. And I think a couple other suggestions I got. But I'm thinking I'm going to do The Wind in the Willows because I have always wanted to read that and it's adorable. Yeah. So I'm thinking that'll be our next book. But comment if you have, I just remembered, we have a comment section. Comment if you have your own suggestion of a book that you think I should read next. But the next time I stream, I think we'll be starting a new book. So it's either Wind in the Willows, like from what I own, Wind in the Willows, or My Family and Other Animals, which is really good too. So Ender's Game? Wait, I think I've heard that. Wait, let me just. I screenshotted that. Thank you. Hell yeah. Let me know what you think. Comment, please. I want more comments. I need more. I love feedback and like input. So seriously. Thank you. Like any type of feedback that isn't commenting on my physical appearance, I absolutely super appreciate and cherish a lot. So thank you. What else? Ender's Game. I have heard that. I heard that the movie isn't like anywhere nearly as good as the book. So the book, I never saw the movie, but oh, thank you, Sumo. That's so nice. Hell yeah. I never saw the movie, but I did hear the book was leagues better, so it must be great. Word. Cool. Well, I'm gonna go cook some chicken. And knowing me, I'm absolutely probably not gonna get in bed by 9. But maybe. We'll see. Yeah, let me know what you think. And by next week, we'll also read another Pilgrim's Progress. That was a good chapter. Wait, what's our next chapter called? Chapter 8. It's called The Deceitfulness of Riches. Okay. Anyway. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I'm sorry. That sucks. Subscribe. Turn your notes on. I think it tells you when I go live. And I try and post it on Twitter too. But I'm so sorry. I really do have to go though. Now I got a new job and I have to get up way too early for my new job. So I do have to go to bed soon. It's been bad. I've been skipping dinner a lot these days. I've like only been eating lunch because I want to go to bed early. It's an insurance actually. It's like a general agency. And I can definitely explain that to you later if you don't know what that means. It's basically like a third-party company that helps insurance agents do their jobs. Not do their jobs for them, but we take the bulk of their work for them. So I really like it though. It's been amazing. So anyway, soon after my training is over, well, after the first 90 days that I work with them, I get to start working 2 days a week from home. So that'll be nice. But yeah. Anyway, on my second week, it's been really good. But I do have to go to bed early, and it's so hard because this is the time in the day that I genuinely like I want to talk to people, and I'm like super awake and my brain is super active and stuff, but insurance is a scam. I just told you I work in insurance. Ow. Well, I think we mostly do. I'm still in training, but pretty sure my company mostly works in life insurance and disability. But I'm getting the hang of it. Where I'm learning. I don't think we do a lot of medical, dental, vision kind of thing. So, but I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, no, trust me. I would sit here for hours, like 1, 2 hours with you guys and just talk. I love it, especially at this time. I can stay up till like 1 a.m. Not tired, but tomorrow I'll be dozing off in the office and regret it. So I've I've been having to force myself to go to bed, and it's really hard, but it is good the next day. So whatever. Yeah. Whatever. I guess. But, whatever. I hope you catch my next stream, which will probably be like maybe Thursday or Friday. But follow me on Twitter because I do post updates every time I stream. Like, going live later today kind of thing. So, yeah. For real, I hope you catch my stream. You're really cool. And Vincent, you're my babe. And sorry, that was probably weird. You're my main. And Jarrett. And anybody else that doesn't objectify me. Woohoo! Okay. I'm sorry. I just never know how to end these. I really like talking to you guys. It's like I don't want to go. But I do need to. Anyway. I'm cooler. Thanks. Seriously, cool. Thanks. I appreciate anybody that's cool. So, yeah. And by the way, if you did miss my stream, I know the live aspect is awesome. I love it too, but it will be posted. I think YouTube takes like a few hours to post it, and then you can just go watch the live again if you missed any. But yeah. You have a good rest of the night. I hope you guys are amazing. Vincent, feel better. I should make an outro. Do you mean like a little jingle outro or like a script? I should though. It's probably a good idea. I don't know. I'm not good at scripts at all. And I was hoping I don't know, this is probably like a what do you say? Is it a pipe dream? I don't know what the term is. This is probably a hope that is a little too out there. But I was hoping when I get like a bigger following, people will actually appreciate the rawness. like the fact that I don't edit my videos or script anything and I just kind of wing it. Even when I like film a video and stitch it together, not live, it's always pretty raw and unscripted. So I was hoping that people actually like that and it doesn't cause me to lose subscribers, but you know, we'll see. Thank you for your feedback. Just some things. Okay, what should I say at the end then? I'm gonna forget it, but I could write it down. We could say, give me some feedback actually. If you want to comment, yeah, if you got like a good thing I could say as an outro with my live streams, that'd be cool. I have no idea, so yeah, I never know how to end these. But thank you for that. I actually do really, if it's a genuine comment, I always reply. So if you want to comment and get a reply, just don't sexualize me and you'll absolutely get one. But I really do cherish and appreciate it when people actually give feedback or input. So like, or suggestions or whatever. So literally do it. I'll love it. I would love ideas or anything that you have and any thoughts you have, literally. It'd be great. So it would actually make me happy. Every time I check YouTube, which is like once a day, and my little bell has notifications, I get so excited. So it'd be cool. But anyway, I always just say I love you guys, which I do, and I hope you're amazing, and I hope I see you again. And I'll see you later.